Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hammer Podcast. Today is January 5th, 2021, and I'm speaking with Cindy. We're going to be having a discussion with her about a whole bunch of topics. So, Cindy, let's get started. Why don't you go ahead and start from where we stopped?
All right, from where we stopped,
Well, from the
or from
beginning.
the
Yes, from the beginning. I'm
okay,
sorry.
from the beginning, I wanted to say thank you for having this platform that we can come to because I think it helps those that were abused and possibly those that might be listening. So thank you
You're
very much.
you're welcome. I'm glad I could be of service.
And I wanted to start off by saying that I was saved at age 7, and my family never went to church though. So my parents dropped me off at my grandmother's house, and I stayed there for a week. And she was having a revival. So on the last day of the revival, I went forward and was saved there, was led through the prayer. And then I went home after, my parents came to get me, and I never went to church ever again until, I guess you could say, Bethesda.
Man.
Lightly, I say that.
So your
So
your grandmother, she was a religious woman?
apparently, that was the only time that I stayed with her. I thought that she was kind of mean, but you know, I didn't have much contact with her. That was just a thing for my parents to be able to get away.
Okay.
So they dropped myself and my two brothers off at my grandmother's house. So basically, I want to talk to parents, maybe young parents and maybe older parents too. And so a lot has been said, about the homes as far as the abuse, and I'll say some of it. But I basically want to uh, talk to you about my mental state uh, in the home and afterwards. So my first day there, I was told later that my helper that I was assigned to was given instructions to antagonize me so that Aunt Dot could get me in line because she wanted to go on tour, and she wanted to go on tour that weekend. She didn't want to worry about, whether I was going to be messing up or anything. So, of course, they antagonized me, and I was drugged down to where Aunt Dot was and put down on the floor, spread eagle. And she proceeded to beat me, and I stopped counting at 20
Oh,
and started screaming.
what was she using?
And a board.
A board.
Yes, she was using the board. And she told somebody to slap me in the face, and they did, of course. And then I don't know whenever she stopped. I don't know if you've heard before that she would have us tell her that we loved her and hug her
No, I've never heard that.
after. Yeah, after our beating, she would have us say, "I love you, Aunt Dot," and give her a hug. Well, in my mental state, I was, not comprehending anything. So I just played like I passed out right there on the floor. And they dragged me down to the showers. And our showers were less than nice. And they turned the water on. It was scalding hot. And, that was basically before I even got my suitcase unpacked that day. So after saying all that, I wanted to say about my mental state, and I've always said this from the beginning. It felt like my mind went to like a 2-year-old. That's the only way that I can explain it. Like a 2-year-old, functioning 2-year-old, of course. I got in line right away, as far as what to do in the home. But basically, it was like my like when I left, I felt like I was maybe 12 in my maturity, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
I know it's hard to understand, but that's the only way that I can explain it. I was 16, but I just, was like a child, and they were able to mold me any way that they wanted to. And of course, they did, because that was part of the abuse. And there were, another thing that I want to talk about is that there were several forms of abuse, in my opinion. Thank goodness I didn't have to witness anyone else being beaten like I was. But I know that people were.
Oh,
I had to
definitely.
Yeah, I had to hold somebody down one time, but it wasn't for a beating. It was for she was having a seizure, and of course they thought that she had demons or something. I don't know, but we just had to hold her down. And
demons.
And yeah, instead of taking her to the hospital, for a seizure, they made us hold her down. Wow.
Did she when you got there, or when anybody got there, were they taking away the medication, let's say for seizures or anything like that?
I never got any medication while I was there. I never got to go to the doctor. I thankfully only got sick once, because their treatment for if you got sick, and I got sick and got a cold, and everybody got sick. So they just put everyone on a fast, which we ate oranges or grapefruits or both or whatever. But if you got sick, you were given Epsom salts and put on a fast. You had to drink Epsom salts.
Good old Lester Roloff right there. I've heard that many times. If you're sick, get the poison out, go on a fast.
Thankfully, I didn't have to drink Epsom salts, because I only got sick that one time, and they didn't want to give it to everybody, I guess. So yeah.
But what I was saying though is, girls that came in, if they were on medication before they got there, let's say for, like I said, seizures or depression, any type of psychotic drugs, did they take them away and basically said, here's the King James Version 1611, pray?
Yeah, I'm sure that was part of it. I never seen it. We were given pills, but we were told that they were vitamins. Have no idea. No one, Miss Colleen was, quote, our nurse, which she was not a legal nurse until later in her life. But she was the one that did all that, I believe, made the vitamins available for us.
Now, what years were you there, Cindy?
I went there in January of 79 and left in January of 80.
Okay.
So back to the forms of abuse. Now, of course, the beatings were a form of abuse, but I feel personally that everyone that had to hold me down, and those that were sitting in the dining room hearing me screaming, had suffered abuse from that. It was traumatic for the other sisters
Sure.
to have to, go through that. And there's just all kinds of abuse.
Physical, mental. Yeah.
Yes, from the littlest things that we were made to do to what we ate, what we wore, what what we weren't allowed to do. Some of the younger sisters were allowed to do a lot more. We weren't allowed to go outside unless it was for exercise or for eating our lunch, and everybody went out as a group. I think I went out maybe 3 times while I was there, and once to clean up the yard because there was a hurricane, and then once with Uncle Burt. And then they had me clean out the cooler. I guess they trusted me a little bit and let me do that outside by myself. But other than that, it was just indoors all the time.
So did you have to wear the culottes to go outside and exercise?
No. I've heard of the culottes, but it wasn't at my time. My time was Bermuda shorts, which,
Okay.
oh my gosh, I had on Bermuda shorts, like this green shirt that I have on. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, that's all I had. I didn't get one thing while I was there. I brought in clothes, and they gave me some of Dork clothes because I just didn't bring very many clothes at all. But I wore everything that I brought, daily. I mean,
Okay.
through the week, and that was it. And the Bermuda shorts were given to me. I didn't.
And of course, you had to wear the dress and the blouse for church, of course.
Oh yes, dresses always,
Red?
except for
Were they red and blue?
no. I went on a tour, but I think we just wore regular clothes.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember
'Cause
having to dress up like that, but we may have, and I just, have put it out of my mind.
Because I remember Roloff's Honeybee Quartet. They had pictures of them, and they had those ugly checker shirts, the red ones, kind of the plaid checkers. Like, oh. But that was the 70s.
I don't have any pictures of myself in those clothes. Mine were just mainly dresses and skirts.
All right. So getting back to, you're talking about the abuse, having the girls watch. That is traumatic, but I think
no, not watch. They had to participate.
Oh, participate.
Yes.
So basically, if you do something, this is what's going to happen to you. Basically, installing fear into you to comply.
I think they probably were fearful after my first day. Yes. So yeah, and myself, of course. I straightened right up. I got to be. I was assigned a helper after 2 months, and that usually took quite a while to accomplish that. But I got to be a helper, so I got to sleep on the floor for 10 months. That's how that worked.
What a great reward.
Yes, actually it was, because having to make those beds and get them perfect, like bouncing a quarter off it, like military style.
Military style,
We
yes.
we didn't have quarters to do that, but you know what I'm you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Mine, my pallet, I could just fold up my blankets and throw them in the closet, and they were nice and neat. And I never got marks for my blankets being a mess.
Okay.
Or my bed being a mess. So I actually liked it, and I wasn't fond of having to give out the marks for to other girls, which is, in my opinion, another form of abuse that we had to suffer, because I had to give out marks just about daily so I wouldn't get a mark. And I was in a room that that had pregnant girls, so there was a girl that wasn't pregnant in my room. So basically, she got all the marks because I didn't want to give the marks to the pregnant girls, because every night we would have to line up, and whoever got a mark would have to go to the board meeting and be paddled for however many marks they got that day.
Oh, so even if you got just one, you got paddled?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And which is another form of abuse. If we got a mark, we didn't get seconds. And you just don't reward that way.
Right.
It's
speaking of
or abuse that way.
Speaking of seconds, how was the food?
Very strange. Very strange. Let me put it this way.
Okay.
One time when I was on a tour, they stopped and got a box of Triscuit crackers for us to eat. And they tasted so good. But now to eat one, it's like it's like eating cardboard. But the salt on them, because we weren't they put sea salt in it, I think, but no pepper, no salt, no sugar in anything. Just
plain.
I think the only spice that they used, if you can even call it a spice, would be what are those things called? Little seeds. They put it in this meat dish, which I don't even know what it was. I have no idea.
And no mustard.
But no, we always knew what we were going to eat. It was the same every day of the week, weekly. We had a weekly schedule of what we were going to eat. Wednesdays was fast day, and we ate cream and mushroom soup.
Well,
that's what we had for fast day. And I think the worst, and I still it wasn't the worst. It's what I asked for when I left, but the smell of cooking French toast, I still it's a trigger. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
The smell of French toast cooking is a trigger for me. But it was different because we ate it with peanut butter. It wasn't like, we got syrup and
well, syrup's got sugar.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, it was peanut butter.
Homemade peanut butter, I'm sure.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I thankfully never had to work in the kitchen. I had to work in the dining room and the hallway. That's where the water fountain was. That's what my job was for a while.
They didn't limit your water intake, did they?
Oh, the water fountain that I had to clean every day, I never drank out of it. I just cleaned it, except for the last day that I was there. And the only reason that I drank out of it because Miss Colleen gave me a pill. And I know that you've heard about us not having periods.
Yes.
Well, she gave me a pill and said, "Here, take this. It's going to start your period back." And I took it and drank out of that water fountain for the first time in a year, since I was there, and didn't ask any questions. And sure enough, when I got home, my period started. But I already knew that there was something going on, and I haven't heard anyone else say that they were given a pill when they left. But a girl had been there and got to go home, and while she was there, she didn't have her period. When she went home, she had her period, and then she did something, and her parents sent her back. And after she had been there for a while, after coming back, I think she had a period while she was there. When she first got back, because she had to have pads. So I never really talked to girls. We weren't allowed, but I snuck in a conversation and talked to her, and about her period, because I was confused. Why are you having a period? Why are you needing these pads? And and then after she was there for a while, she didn't have it again. But she told me that she had her period when she was home. So I basically knew that something was up about our periods. And in my later years, I was able to contact Miss Colleen. And unfortunately, after speaking with me and me, asking her some hard questions, she never spoke to anyone else again. But, I'm sorry about that. But, I had to know. And I asked her, about the pill that she had given me and about us not having any periods. And she was all, happy about it. She was there for 5 years and she never had a period. And she said it was because of the stress. And I'm thinking, I went through a horrible divorce, lost my children, and still had my period. But, I didn't have my period then. And I told her that. And she said, "Oh, it must have been because we didn't have any sunshine." And I'm thinking, well, I understand that I didn't have any sunshine, but you had sunshine. And she didn't know anything about the pill that she didn't remember anything about the pill that she had given me. So, it was a bust on, learning anything from her. And I guess she figured out that the conversations weren't going to be very easy for her.
Right. They're on to me. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
stress. I mean, I've done a little research on this. Stress can cause a woman to skip periods, but not shut them off altogether. You know what I mean? And especially when you have a bunch of girls together, you know how it is. Their periods sync up and everything.
Right.
But I don't think, and this is my opinion, I don't think that they just shut off altogether. I mean, they had to have been giving you something.
Yes. I wanted to ask you,
yes.
Have you seen the transcript of Betty? You know who I'm talking about?
Betty.
Can I say her whole name?
Go ahead.
The other house mother?
Oh.
Betty?
No. Oh, Betty. No, I haven't.
Okay. I saw a transcript probably back in 2012 where she was asked in court whether she gave the girls dog warmer.
Dog warmer?
Yes, dog warmer. And when I heard that, I basically freaked out and had to call poison control. And, they got a earful out of me, but they weren't helpful. They didn't know anything about dog warmer. But yeah, that was mentioned in a court case in a transcript. I've read that. But, of course, she said no, that she didn't give the girls dog warmer.
I've heard that it was Thorazine.
Right. Which I wondered if Thorazine was part of dog warmer, but I don't know.
Yeah. And the thing
I've,
is,
I've heard that.
I'm sure those people are going to take it to their grave.
Well, maybe not. Maybe not.
I hope not.
Well, what I mean by that, and maybe that will segue into my next thing that I want to talk about, is the codes. Now, some of the Bethesda ladies that I'm in a group with have talked to me and wanted to, have their code. And what I'm talking about is there's codes in the Bible, and I have a computer program that I can look up different things. And I have looked up Bethesda in the codes, and it is in the plain text in John 5:2. But the anomaly about that and the exciting thing, and I knew that it was going to show us these codes, is that there's 33 names around Bethesda encoded in this area in John 5:2. And also, I can look up other words like I found, what have I found? Abuse. I found home, baby, and warmer. So, yeah,
Wow.
that it may come out now. I don't know, but warmer is around Bethesda in that code.
That's very
And
interesting.
yeah, and did you see the code that I gave you for Wiley Cameron?
Yes, I did.
That was very interesting. And
Yes.
burnt in the fire is in the plain text right next to his name, his last name, I believe,
Yes.
which is the Matrix. Cameron was the Matrix there.
I always knew that fake Cameron would be the death of him. Well,
Yeah,
the welder that he was using, it arced against his wedding ring, caught his clothes on fire.
right.
Yes. Wow. And I've told this to a couple of people. I unfortunately get the unpleasantness of listening to some of these sermons. I do have probably about 10 Wiley Cameron sermons that he did.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't find
That's
them on you
that
can't
must be
yeah, you can't find them on the internet. I've tried and looked. I see if I can find some more. I can't even find the ones that I got. So,
that must be pretty painful
yes.
having to watch that. I couldn't do it.
It was there was one sermon that he did called "A Man on Fire," and it was
Wow.
just irony at its best. He was talking about
Exactly.
the rich man and Lazarus. Remember that story?
Yes.
And that's who he was talking about. People, and he also talked about some friend that he knew was starting a bread route, and he came across the Wyckoff Hotel. It was on fire, and people were jumping out of the buildings and everything. And I'm thinking, and this guy died in a fire. It's, like I said, irony. It's amazing.
I don't think that code is for him. It's for the people that were abused by him. It's not. It's not for him. It's for, It's for. I didn't know him, so I can't say it was for me, but it was for the people that know him. And from what I've heard, he was pretty brutal, a very ugly man.
He was brutal and he was a pervert. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's tragic, very tragic.
But
And
it's not surprising.
oh no, no.
Not surprising.
Um, my day with Uncle Burt. I have bits and pieces of it, and I didn't know the rape part. I didn't remember it for years. I think I was almost 50 before I remembered. But I did remember the day, and I didn't remember. So what happened is I had to go with him out in the field. It was just me. And I remember being out there and having to pick weeds, and I was in a dress, and it was very uncomfortable. Feeling me on my hands and knees in a dress, and with him just standing there watching me, and I basically, that's all I remember, except for the ending, which was he took me into the pool area and sat me at a table, and there was a huge gunny sack full of peanuts, and he told me that I could eat however many I wanted to, but I knew better because it would make me sick. So I only ate a little tiny handful of peanuts, and then they came and got me, and I went in. That was the end of my date. But when I was able to go back and tour Bethesda with a group of ladies that were there also, we toured it, and I went out the back door, and I felt like something was wrong, and like something was wrong because I'd never been out that door or anywhere near there, but I felt like I had been, and it was a mental block for me, and I have remembered everything. Even how I was chosen to go out with Uncle Bart, but I didn't even remember that day. I was working in the hallway where the water cooler is, and he came in the side door and asked for somebody to come out and help him, I guess, in the field, and Miss Colleen took my shoes and socks, and so I knew it was a Sunday because I never wore shoes and socks unless it was Sunday. And I went out barefoot, but I did not remember that part of it, until I was 50, along with me being raped. But we don't want to go into that part. Don't want to remember that. It's on a shelf in my mind. And that's basically how I have dealt with everything is in my mind, the bad things go on a shelf. And like now I can get them down and remember them and talk about them. But other than that, they're on a shelf. And I feel like people through the years may have sensed that something was off about me, because truly after that first day, I died there to who I was. And the parents that are listening to me, there's definitely a better way to go than don't even consider sending your child to a home. We have talked, amongst ourselves, the ladies that were there in the home, and we've asked ourselves, what was something good that came out of that home? And at my time, we weren't allowed, to really make friendships. So, that wasn't one of them, but some of them, have made lasting friendships. But unfortunately, that's not my case.
Mm.
So the only thing that I could say is that the Bible reading and, me being able to pray and, grow closer in my relationship with Christ. Now, I've made relationships with the ladies from our group, but, I can talk to them now. I couldn't talk to them back then. So, it's easier if you sit down with your child now and read them the Bible or read them, Moby Dick or, whatever. It doesn't matter if you just spend time with them. I think that's basically what they're crying out for anyway. When,
I think, some parents would probably say, well, that happened late 70s, early 80s. It's not happening. Oh, yes, it is happening now.
it
It
is,
is.
it
It
is
is. They haven't stopped. They're still on the same Lester Roloff program. It's the same thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe, they aren't as, as bad as Aunt Dot was. I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully, for the children's sake, that they're not. But to some degree, and certainly the men haven't changed.
Say that's why you don't. That's why there's a lot of places. I mean, I guess I can give them this much. There are some girls' homes that don't have any male staff. All female staff. The females run the home. When you have a male inside an all girls home, especially one that is a little perverted, stuff
What's
happens.
sad too is that she knew it was going on, because nightly he would have girls come, and I don't know what they called it. I can't remember. I only had to go one time, and they would sit in his lap. I couldn't do that. I didn't do that. But it was like, the nighttime prayer, and he would pray with you, and no.
Nighttime prayer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but nighttime prayer, my ass.
Exactly.
Yeah. Why would you want to sit on a grown man's lap? I can only think of
Well,
one
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not going there.
Right. So I'm just saying.
Not gonna think
I
about it.
I could think of many things, but anyway, yeah, that Wills guy. But it always seems to me.
No, this
Yes.
was Uncle Bert.
Oh, Uncle Bert. I'm sorry.
Uncle Bert.
Uncle Bert. Um, it just seems to me, and I've talked to a few people about this. It's either one of two things with these pastors or religious guys that are running homes or pastoring churches. It's either they're either going to prison for something having to do with taxes or money, or some sort of molestation. There's nothing else. It's always one of those two. So
Money is in the codes.
money's in the
I
codes.
found money. Yeah. So I I've looked up the names of other homes, and I don't know the people's names. So
Well, did you do
if
the Rebecca home?
yes, I found Rebecca Home, and two names because I knew two girls from there.
Okay.
So if some of the administrators of these other groups want to contact me and give me names, I will gladly look them up because I think they're going to be there.
Did you do
I
did you
think
do a did you do a code on Lester Roloff too?
I did,
Oh
yes,
man.
and
What happened with that?
I, he is in the codes, and I think it is for us too. And I, in my studying about it, I went and listened to the recording of his plane crash. Very creepy. But I was searching because I wanted to know if I could find the girls that were with him, if I could find their names,
Okay.
and I did, but I only found two. So I'm not going to say who they are for their privacy,
Right.
because only two were there and there were four. So, but the thing about it is, it's a code that I think is for us because Cessna was there, and
Oh.
that's the plane
The Liberty Bell.
that he
Yes.
was. I need different words that I can look up because if I don't have a word, I don't know to look it up. So,
Right.
uh,
Well, the name of his
but I'll
name
look for
of
Liberty Bell.
yes, the name of his plane was the Liberty Bell.
I looked for the name of the town where he went down in, which was I can't even pronounce it, but that was not there.
Okay.
But Cessna was.
Now I know that one of the daughters of a man, his last name was Palmer.
Hmm.
His daughter was in that plane when it crashed.
Right.
So
Yeah,
just
she was
another
one
last
of
name for
the.
you. Yes.
I usually look up the first names, but I guess I could try the last names because it's always different. I just haven't yet,
I'll
but
I'll
that's an
I'll,
idea.
I'll tell you his first name after the podcast.
Okay, I
Yeah.
have the ladies' names,
Okay.
the girls that were with him. I have their names,
Okay.
but
So, wow, that's amazing.
yeah. Um, Dot and Burt is in the Bethesda matrix, but not Aunt Dot, which we don't call her Aunt Dot anymore. We call her Dot. Sometimes I call her Anti Dot, and at Christmas time I call her X Dot. But normally we just call them Dot and Bert now.
Okay, not Uncle Bert and Aunt
And
Dot anymore. Okay.
no, that Uncle Bert was not found there, but Bert was found there.
Was for
And then Dot was found, but not Aunt Dot. And his name was actually Hubert,
yeah,
but that wasn't found there
yeah,
either.
and hers was Dorothy, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that wasn't found there either. I didn't.
Wow.
I looked for that first, and I'm thinking, oh, she's not there. But Dot was. And, that's basically what we call her now. And Jesus was there. Satan was there, of course. It felt really evil in that home. And Yeshua is the what I think is the real name of Jesus, the Hebrew name. So Yeshua was there once, and Jesus was all over the place in the plain text and just all around Bethesda. So that was pretty cool to see.
Now you said you went there recently.
I have been there twice, but not recently. Gosh, it's been 10 years
Okay. 10 years. When you went in there,
or more.
did
Yes.
you just feel the evil that was there?
Yes.
Yes.
It was very evil feeling. But the people that owned it the first time that I went there, and I went there with other sisters, so it was, somewhat easier to go. But I don't know what it is. I don't act like myself when I get around my sisters. It's the craziest thing. And I don't feel like myself. I just feel like a nervous. It's hard to describe. I'm
Right.
just not myself.
Everything,
But
all the past memories get triggered.
yeah, exactly. But the people that owned it at that time were really, really super nice and had everything open. They had flowers, and it was just, we could walk through there and walk out, and it felt healing. And I encourage others to go and do the same thing. Of course, the second time that I went, oh my gosh, it had fallen into disrepair. I walked through my bedroom and there was a crack pipe in there, which I had to ask somebody because I don't do drugs, so I
Right.
didn't even know if it was, but I suspected it was, and it was. So there had been dogs in there, and people had been using the toilets, and it just
It's it's
it
it's what they call a crack house, is where all the addicts come and they.
yeah,
Yes.
and it was fitting, but yet it was hard to see, because I feel like all of our sisters need to go and get the same healing that I got when I got to go back, because I was in a horrible divorce, and he took my children, and was in emotional pain for 8 years. And after having my reunion and getting to go back, the emotional pain went away. Thank God. The emotional pain went away after that. So I think it's very healing for people to go back now. I said I don't need to go back again, but I would go back if another sister needed me to be there with her. I would, and I encourage everyone to go.
One of the nice things about going back those two times was you walk in, but yet you can walk out.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, and I got to fellowship with my sisters. It's still pretty painful. I got to wear my hair braided like I wore the first day that I was there. I have really long hair, and I don't like it getting in my face. But Aunt Dot talked to me like maybe 3 times while I was there, which is another form of abuse. You don't send a child somewhere and never talk to them, on a personal level. And the times that she talked to me was never nice, because I had my hair braided. She called me the N-word lover because I had
Really?
my hair braided. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You had it got cornrows or something, or was it
Oh
just a
no, I
big
just
braid?
had just 2 braids right
Okay.
here, and I got to wear my hair that way when I went. And there's a picture of me with my hair braided. I mean, just 2 braids to keep it out of my eyes.
Right. Abusive and
It's not like I
racist.
was Bo Derek or something. But,
Abusive and racist. Wow.
yes, yes, she was.
But
Oh, I
that's the
wanted to
Southern
say,
Baptist, though. That's the Southern Baptist.
have have you heard that? Well, I'll just say it like this: during a Bible study that she gave, um, she told us one time that her father beat her with a razor strap. And I was thinking at the time, well, if your father beat you, why are you beating us? But that, I think Bethesda made, we were products. If you can understand what I'm saying, we all came out either, under the mindset of never abusing someone, because we had been abused,
Right.
or they came out still brainwashed and abusive, they were going to be the abusers. And some of the ladies, I know one in particular went on to abuse her children. But most of them thankfully came out and, were like, a lot of us are nurses or, help people.
Right. Yeah. Living successful lives, for one thing.
Yeah, right.
But
Able to shelve it like I did all my life and function in society. But others, they didn't have, an easier time. I mean, my life wasn't perfect, far from it. My battery's going to die.
oh,
Oh, I have 29
29 minutes.
left. But yeah, well, I don't know,
we got
29%.
all right. We can. We're about 52 minutes in, so we can go on for a little bit more, about 10, maybe 10 minutes. It's okay.
Yeah,
Well, just let me know when your battery's almost dead. Then we can end the podcast.
okay. My phone, I have to plug in the earbuds to use them. And then I can't plug in my phone to charge it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's an interesting phone.
Yeah. And it has to have an adapter on it too.
Oh,
It's real
okay.
fun when you lose them.
Now, I was talking to I don't know if you saw the podcast, but I was talking with a guy named Austin, who was kind of that's how I found out about Burt and Dot. He had done some research on
Yeah,
some of the people, and
I did.
he said that Aunt Dot was meaner than the devil.
She was pretty bad. I
Yeah.
can't look at her face and not feel just, I don't know. I don't feel like that way with anyone else. Maybe my ex-husband, but for sure, she's the only one that I feel.
Like that.
She's a what I call neutral. I definitely don't love her, but I don't hate her because for me, I don't want hate in my life. So she's neutral.
Okay.
But yeah, she's 96. She's 96 right now.
Wow. Is
I had to.
is Bert still alive?
No, he's
No, he
dead,
passed. Okay.
and his name is not encoded.
Wow.
Yeah, not encoded at all. Except for just Bert
Right.
around the Bethesda matrix.
Well, that's enough.
Yeah, and other people that were there. Some of the younger ladies, they've given me names, and like the workers, their names aren't there either. It's strange.
Huh.
Now, some of Miss Colleen was not there, but one of the other workers that we know is still brainwashed, her name was there for some reason.
Huh.
It's hit or miss.
Right.
Every name is not in the codes.
Just the evil ones.
Maybe, I don't know. No, I don't know. They say that if your name is encoded, that the Bible is the book of life, and if you're encoded, that your name is encoded in the book of life. Now, I didn't write the book,
Right.
and I didn't make the codes. I'm just finding them, and it's been very rewarding to find these things and find words that mean stuff to my home. I hope to be able to do that for the other homes and find words that because I watched the younger gentleman that you had on just this past time. I
Okay.
couldn't watch it much because it's upsetting. I knew that there were boys' homes, and I knew that after I got out, I knew that they were being abused also, but it's hard for me to watch.
Right. You should do one for Agape.
I
See what
should,
that
yeah.
comes out.
I've thought I just haven't had the time to do it yet.
Right.
I definitely will, though. Definitely will.
Yeah. When you had your reunion, was Dot there?
Oh,
No.
I was scared to death that she would come, or Miss
Okay.
Colleen, because Miss Colleen lived probably. Oh, she was close. I knew where she lived, and she lived in Mississippi. So she was close, and I felt like she was going to find out, but thankfully,
She didn't.
no. But the
Okay.
police showed up and scared me.
Okay. Uh,
But they didn't haul me off or anything, so I was good.
Because I got a chance when I was at the roll off school back in 79 to 82. I remember talking to Wiley. I met Lester Roloff a couple of times, or maybe it was maybe one time. But I interacted with the Camerons a bunch, and because
Oh,
they were head of that school there, and you could just Faye Cameron had like an aura around her. It was it wasn't a good aura. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Every time you got near her,
right.
you could just feel something, and it wasn't good. Nobody liked her at all. She was maybe not as mean as Dot, but she was mean to those girls. She
And
was
she
mean.
was at Rebecca.
Yes.
I'll have to look for her name around Rebecca. I didn't know. I
Yeah.
don't have enough of the history on all the homes like I should. But
Right. But Faye, yeah,
I hope
Faye
to.
Cameron. Faye Cameron is her name.
I'll definitely look. What did they have to call her? Do you know?
What did they? I'm sorry.
Like Aunt Dot.
Oh,
That was
uh,
what we had to call her.
right. I don't know. Um, I just called her Miss Faye. Of course, we had to say
Yeah, that might be
Miss or brother.
right.
Brother Cameron and Miss Faye. As
Right.
far as the Rebecca girls, what they called her, I don't know. So
I just think it's pretty disgusting what they did to a lot of people, and these parents that are thinking to send their children there just don't even consider
right,
it
they did all
to any.
they did all this abuse under the guise of religion. You know,
Oh, I know that was part of it, which
in
was horrible too.
they did it in the name of the Lord, and it's no,
Yeah.
that's not what God taught.
I threw everything out after I had to deal with a little Stockholm syndrome after I got out. But then when I finally woke up, when my grandmother was going to send my aunt there, is when I woke up. I had to throw everything out. I knew that, it wasn't right.
Right.
None of it was right. And I still, like I said from the beginning, I had my relationship with Christ, and I still had my relationship with Christ after I got out. So that is the only thing that sustained me while I was there. And I don't know, how other people were able to deal with it. And, that's one of the things that I feel really, really horrible about. And one of the things why I want to do these codes for people is because you came out of there either hating Christ so much that you just threw it out totally and blamed God for everything. And some of the people, I'm finding their names, in encoded, and I hope that it will help them to come closer to Christ, because nobody deserves what we went through, and especially to not have Christ after that too.
I know some
Because
people. Oh, go ahead.
I couldn't deal with it if I didn't have Him.
Some people, when they get out of these homes, they turn away from religion altogether, and
Exactly.
you have some that hold on to their faith.
Right.
It varies with everybody. So
And each to their own, but they deserve to have Him in their life, and they deserve to come to Him better than they had to from
right.
these homes.
Well,
They deserve a better example. They
well,
were not good examples.
when you think about it, Cindy, do you blame them? You know what I mean?
Oh, I don't.
Yes.
No, I really don't.
I wouldn't blame
Absolutely
anybody
not.
for turning from
No.
religion. Yeah. So
Um, yeah, that's why I was saying I feel like because I was saved before I went in, I might be in the same boat if I hadn't had uh, that before I went in.
okay. So how are you coping now?
Well, I quit my job in March, and I signed up for unemployment, but I didn't get it till like September or something.
Oh,
But I'm living okay. I live very, very frugal, so everything's good.
that's good. How
I'm
about
I'm happy.
good? How's your mental state? At peace?
Yes, I am with everything. Um, I don't think about um, I don't think about the rape. I of course have to live with maybe a few nightmares here and there, but they're few and far between. And I didn't talk about this, but on my second trip to Bethesda, I had what is called, or what I call, shutdown, where my body shuts down. But I haven't had one of those in a long time, and I think it's like an adrenaline rush. So what happened is I felt like I would know for sure, and it would bring back the memory of the rape if I went out to the barn, which is where I think I was raped. So I wasn't planning on going out there by myself, but I just wandered out there and um, was feeling okay until I got in the barn and recognized it and had a shutdown. And I think I scared everybody, but it was something that I needed to go through, so that later on I could remember everything that happened.
Kind of a form of therapy.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. And, I've accepted it. So I don't dwell on it. I don't dwell on Bethesda too much. I mean, now that I'm doing codes, I think about it a lot more. But um, it's it's good thoughts knowing that I'm helping my sisters,
And
and I'm at 9%.
okay. And also, well, one more thing, and also with you being on the podcast and telling your story, it could also help parents as far as future agape or future other girls' homes. You know what I mean? It would probably
Yes.
keep them from sending their kids to any of these homes. So you would be an inspiration to them.
Well, I hope so, because I don't think anybody wants to think that they're going to send their child to a home where they're going to get help, and they turn out to be horribly abused like I
Yes.
was,
It,
and their mental state. Because when I got home, I know my mother knew that something was wrong from just the way I was acting.
right.
And we have a pretty good relationship now, but it's been up and down through the years. But
At least there's communication.
um, yes,
Yes.
and I don't blame her. The blame is definitely on Dot. Period.
No pun intended. All right.
Right.
Cindy, thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, if you'd like to come back on, if you have any more things you want to talk about, feel f-
I would like to come back on,
yes.
and hopefully I'll have more codes to share with you.
Great. Like I said, I'll give you my cell phone number, and you can contact me directly. So,
Awesome.
all right. So,
All right. Thank
all right,
you.
Cindy. Take care of yourself.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye.